Time to go. They're kind of dry.
Oh my god, this is so dry here today.
Ready to go?
Yep.
What do we got today?
Let's see, it's about 750 meters. We're starting at 400.
Okay.
350 meter gain. It looks gnarly, but 350 is it's 1/4 what we did on the first day. Here we go.
We definitely needed that break. I think both of us feel a lot better after taking it kind of easy last night, not going out.
Still so sleepy. I felt like I could have slept 2 more hours at least. And normally we're up and ready at like 6:30, 6:45.
So today we are walking from Pamplona all the way up to Punta Lorena. We're actually staying there for 2 nights, so we're just kind of slowing down a little bit.
Punta Lorena is supposed to be a small, cute little town, and there's supposed to be some amazing vineyards and wineries, and you know, I'm excited about checking it out. The place that we secured for a couple of nights is this really cute hostel with supposedly a really nice terrace.
I can't wait. We got another 24 kilometers to go or so, so hit them with it.
Here we go. It's interesting walking through all these different villages and towns. You know, when we first started on day 1, day 2, it was super, super tiny towns with maybe 1 or 2 homes. And now it feels like we're in a suburb of Pamplona. And honestly, I am kind of surprised. I used to think that suburbs were a thing only of the United States, where the houses all look the same, but it's definitely a suburb here. Hey. Hey. It's very dry and exposed on today's hike. It's about 9 a.m. and it's not too hot yet, thank goodness, but I expect in just a couple of hours it's gonna be 80, maybe 90 degrees.
Ooh, there's a good one. There. Nice.
Confirmed Blackberry?
Mm-hmm. Blackberry, very tasty.
Do you feel any itchiness in your throat? Is it closing up?
No, I don't think so.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Bye, Pamplona.
Oh, yeah. It's cold, too. How you doing?
Are we there yet?
You could talk in normal speaking voice.
Are we there yet? Something that I'm learning the hard way on this route is that it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you go. The first day I was noticing we were kind of the last people to leave and almost the second to last people arriving. But we are being reminded constantly by our friends here, by the people that are taking breaks as we go, other peregrinos here, that it just doesn't matter how fast or how slow you take this Camino. It's all your own way.
That's a really cool thing that I didn't expect along this trip, is you just kind of see people over and over again, but there's no expectation to walk with them for any amount of time, especially because everybody walks at a different pace, or to see them at night. It's just when your paths cross, you say, hey, and you're really excited to see them and ask them how they've been doing, and then they just, you know, go on their way. And then maybe you meet up with them for dinner.
I remember a German couple that we had dinner with the other night. We were all trying to stay in the same town, but they weren't able to secure an accommodation in the town that we were staying in. So I thought, oh no, we're never going to see them again. But sure enough, we saw them at a rest stop here along the way today, and it was really exciting. It's fun to run into people even though you think that you won't see them ever again. I think I have become accustomed to the idea that being slow is a bad thing or it's shameful, but I'm learning here it's not.
It's not. Man, this part is really hard. It's just all these loose rocks. Ugh. We're slip sliding basically with every single step. Luckily we only got to lose 300 meters of elevation, but it'll probably be just like this all day. So one of the things that we've loved on this trip so far is just how quiet it is. And our last couple of towns were anything but that. We were in Paris, and then Prague before that, and then Budapest right before that. All of those areas are very busy, very loud metropolitan cities, and it's just jarring, the juxtaposition between that and this. All day where us talking is the loudest thing for a mile.
And I think even in the last year, 2 years, we haven't really lived in super big or super loud cities. It's been, what, 2 years since we've lived in San Francisco. And Honolulu wasn't that loud. It was nice because we lived, well, I guess it was kind of loud.
What is that noise?
I had, waiting for the siren. But we live next to the beach and the ocean, so there was some of that nature to calm things down a little bit.
And it's had this interesting effect on me, all of this walking and being generally in a more quiet atmosphere. So my watch here that I have measures my stress level, and to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how it does it. It says it measures it by some complicated heart rate variability algorithm, but what it has said is that my level of stress every single day, according to this watch, has gone down by over half from the last couple of weeks or last little bit of time that we've been walking all around Europe. And I gotta say, I definitely feel better. So yeah, the Camino so far has been a blessing for sure. Okay, so we're taking a little break for lunch and hanging out, eating our lovely sandwiches that turned out to be much, much sweeter than we expected.
The butter, the sweet butter is always what surprises me.
Yeah. It was butter bread, so I was expecting like, cool, that means we don't have to bring butter with us, which will definitely melt along the way that we're walking. I don't know, it just doesn't taste so good with cheese and meat. So as we're sitting here just watching this team of kids play soccer that are definitely better than I've ever been in my entire life at soccer. Oh my God, all of them are phenomenal. As we're hanging out here, I just wanted to share what we found out about the different apps on your phone that you can use for the Camino, because there are a lot of them, but there's only really 2 that you need to care about. All right, so we have tried every single Camino app out there, and there are a lot, but the only 2 that you really need to care about are the Buen Camino app and Camino Ninja. You definitely need both of them because each of them are good for only just a subset of things that you need on the Camino every single day. So the Buen Camino app is a 10 out of 10 for having all the great information, all the history, all of the albergues, all the good restaurants in the area. It also has a lot of other good information about what to pack and where to go and kind of what to expect while you're on the Camino. It's got a bit of more of a guidebook built into it. But the actual map function inside of it, as well as the GPS tracking of how to get from place to place, is terrible. It's terrible. It doesn't work and it crashes almost all the time. One of the major things that the Buen Camino app is missing is whether or not an albergue is actually open or not. And I've noticed that this makes it really tough because you have to essentially call every single albergue or look up their Facebook or WhatsApp information. And if that information isn't accurate, you end up calling some random grocery store or post office or something like that in the same area, and they have no idea what you're talking about. So the Buen Camino app has great information, but the information seems a little old and dated when it comes to the hotels or the albergues that you're staying at. Now, that's where Camino Ninja comes in. They actually go out and check and call all of these individual places to stay and make sure that all of them are open or closed or what their status is and what their hours are, and double check whether they have Facebook or WhatsApp or basically like what is the best way to communicate with them. And this is obviously super important with all the changes that have happened with COVID-19. Previously to this, we kind of heard that you could book, but you didn't have to in advance, and reservations weren't really a necessity. But now, and I think this will stick around going forward, since all of these hotels and albergues that weren't on a booking platform are now all of a sudden forced to be on booking.com or Agoda or some of these other places so you can actually reserve them in advance. The other thing that Camino Ninja is absolutely great for is it tells you what elevation you're at your specific location. It also gives you very clear GPS mapping to make sure that you're always on the Caminos and you're always on the right way to get to where you're going, as well as a much better mapping system that crashes still sometimes, but way less than the Buen Camino app when you're actually using the map. In summary, you're going to need both of these. You're going to need the Buen Camino app, Camino Ninja app. To learn more about where you're at and the types of things that are happening in each town and the history of that town, Buen Camino app for sure. But for everyday uses in the app that we use the most when we're actually walking, Camino Ninja is the right one for that.
There's a wine route? Well, that's what we're gonna have today.
Oh, and just in case you're wondering, no, of course, we are not sponsored by either of those apps. I know it can be hard to know who to trust on YouTube. I totally get that. But yeah, one, we're not really big enough to be sponsored by anybody. And two, those are just genuinely the only two good apps out there.
It is getting really warm right now. There's no shade. An hour and a half to go. This last little bit is just tough because it's so warm. But we've got these little shells that are pointing us in the right direction, and we're in the last town before we hit Puente La Reina. Excited.
It's amazing what it's like around here when it's siesta time between like 2 and 5 p.m. There's just nothing happening. No people anywhere, no cars moving, just this whole town and every other town that we've walked through today just come to an absolute standstill. And man, do I look stupid with this hat on, but it helps with the sun.
Somehow we have reached civilization.
Oh, we have a fan! Yes! Yes! I mean, the terrace is cool, but we have a fan. Ooh, look at that, that's so nice.
Wow. Our own private lanai.
Beer there, 5 minutes. Time for beers, gummy worms on our lanai. Oh yeah.
it's your turn.
Yeah. Cheers to walking a little over a half marathon for 4 days in a row.
Cheers. We're at Albergue Puente, which is in Puente La Reina, and it's an awesome hostel. It has dorms for rent, but it also has private rooms, and it's really, really affordable. The people here are super nice, super friendly. Everything's really clean, and there's like a lot of quirky, cute things about this place. I love the bag lamp.
Oh, it's not a bag. I thought they left us some snacks or something. It's a lamp.
Oh. Everything about this place is awesome, especially the lanai, especially the view.
Oh, it's so nice to be sitting down. I'm in love with this hostel that we're hanging out at. We got a private room for 40 euros. I just got my beer and some gummy worms out of a vending machine. I am really, really glad that we are staying an extra night here. I think honestly our bodies are still kind of adapting to this new load that we're putting them under. We're walking a little over a half marathon every single day, and this is our 4th day in a row, and honestly our bodies are just not that used to it yet. So I think we need to give it a little bit of time to rest, and I couldn't think of a better place to do it than here. Definitely need both of them because each of them are only
Oh, we're having a... Ooh, we're on the wine.
More sweat than man.
With the bottom? Whoa. Hi, kitty. What do you got to tell us? So many things to say.